y'all, I'm Sarah, and this movie review is on The Hunt. Now, I know this came out a few years ago, but I did get a chance to watch it recently, and I have opinions. So, The Hunt is another satirical horror movie about politics, sort of. A group of people that are kidnapped and hunted because of their political affiliations, we'll say. I normally don't watch movies like this because I find it annoying. But sometimes they surprise me, like movies like The Oath, which I thought was more interesting than I expected and a lot more funny. The opening scene I found disturbing, but felt like they could have cut it out entirely. And in the opening scene, we're on an airplane and the stewardess is asking if anybody wants a snack or something to drink, and this really pretentious man is like, have you ever tried caviar? I asked that because she offered him caviar, and he's like, I don't really want any caviar, I had some last night. Do you have any Mediterranean food? She says no, but I have some champagne. And as she's pouring it, somebody like stumbles out of the back. He appears really disoriented and doesn't know where he is. Another character who's also sitting on the plane attacks him and stabs him in the neck, and there's a lot of cryptic information in here. He stabs him in the neck, old boy starts fighting back. A woman who was asleep somewhere else separate from this area on the plane stabs him in the eyeball with the heel of her shoe, and then they drag him to the back with the others, and he dies there asking for help. And then it cuts to a bunch of people with gags waking up in the middle of a field somewhere. So I know this movie aggravated some people, and I know it got some people in their feelings because, well, the characters are entirely based on stereotypes, except for one, which I found interesting, and that was the reason why I kept watching the movie, really, her character. So a bunch of people wake up in the middle of the field. There's a huge crate in the field. Nobody knows each other. They open up the crate, they find the keys, they take the gags off. In the crate is a bunch of guns and weapons. It's really chaotic. People, bullets everywhere, people just dying, some of them in horrifying ways, like this lady fell on some spikes and then another guy managed to pull her up off the spikes, but then a grenade blew him up and her onto the spikes again. So, the people escaped, they managed to make it down the road, and then turns out the gas station is rigged and the people in it are a part of this whole thing. But one of the kidnappees figures it out and manages to avoid being murdered. Her and this other guy escape, and they escape onto a train and manage to make it somewhere else, and then they get caught up there trying to figure out where they are, trying to figure out how to get back, and trying to figure out how to escape. So she's figured out the only way that they're going to be able to escape this place is to kill all the people that are trying to kill them, basically. And she's not wrong. At first I thought she was being interviewed, but I think it's her boss and his assistant who are grilling her about a text thread that she had with some of her friends that became public. In the thread, they allude to killing rednecks on an estate somewhere. I guess this is the part where she gets fired for it, and she gets really upset and demands to know who said that they were doing those things in real life. She's like, it was a joke, it wasn't real. So then we start getting a bit more information. There's another scene where you see everybody who is involved. The elderly couple at the gas station. You get to see the guy who's pretending to be a refugee. You get to see the diplomat that picked him up in the car. Everybody is there. and you see that they're looking at a slideshow of all of these people, and it's the same people that were in this field. So apparently they chose these people specifically. So they decided that because these people created the lie that they were kidnapping people and hunting them on an estate, that they would make it real and really kidnap these people and hunt them on an estate. They go back to the estate, and she finds her way back to the main house there, where it's the same woman who was being interviewed by her boss before. She manages to make it all the way to this manor where she confronts this woman, and it turns out that she has kidnapped the wrong person. That there is someone else in her town who has the exact same name, only it's spelled a little differently. I laughed so hard. I cannot tell you guys how hard I laughed when she said, there's a whole other person in my town that has the exact same name as me, only it's spelled a little different. And I get her mail sometimes. You have the entire wrong person. And there are moments like that in the film where it's like, this is really messed up, but all you can do is laugh right now or be disgusted and disturbed. And even though her character doesn't say a lot in the film, there are a lot of character building lines when she tells that story. For example, her version of the tortoise and the hare, that was a really disturbing story, told really well, when she's talking to the guy from the Coast Guard, the captain, about why she's even bothering to fight back. And she's like, I'm a little I was like, that's exactly it. She's a little She decides to use whatever that is on these people rather than just give up. There's a final confrontation between her and Hilary Swank's character, whose name I do not remember. I don't remember none of their names. I remember the things that they said, but not so much their names. And maybe that was the point, because they said some really, everybody says something dumb, but something that like sticks in your brain. They fight. When she jumped up to grab that bottle of wine that she threw, that was also funny and made me laugh. Because what? Anyway, so they fight. Snowball wins and survives. And I guess her prize is that she gets to go home back to her life. And she does. Her and the stewardess have a very nice moment. And that's just how the story it's just a bunch of, it's really gory. I mean, really gory, gratuitous violence, gratuitous language. If you can't handle it, do not watch this movie. People's heads just exploding like pumpkins, or bodies. It was funny, but it wasn't funny when it happened. I really like Snowball's character because she was very surprising. Like, not just the actions that she took, because everybody is trying to survive, but like her process. I would recommend it if you can handle that level of like yuck. I would give it a 3 out of 5 because I feel like if there were just a few tweaks made in terms of character development or maybe story organization, that could have made it like even more like, what? Like surprising to learn the reason behind all this happening, or for us to even care about the characters that were exploding. That could have made it more like impactful, or maybe it was the point not to. I don't know. I'm just giving it a 3 out of 5. I have some more movie reviews on the way. You guys know I try to keep it with a variety, but not really, because it's mostly action, science fiction, thriller, and horror over here. Thank you for spending your time here with me, and I'll see you guys next time.